Hi boys and girls, welcome to Everyday Math Lesson 7.2, Extending Complements of 10. The materials that you'll need today, notebook paper, pencil, math journal, and template. Let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is go over our math boxes from the previous lesson. So if you can open up your math journal to page 162. If you're noticing that you have any mistakes, please fix those with your pencil and eraser. So for our first question, number 1, which one is certain to happen? Circle the best answer. You should have picked choice C, spring will follow winter. For question 2, you are solving. The unit I chose to use were pens. So I know that 17 minus 9 is 8. So then if I have 27 minus 9, I would have 18. If I have 57 minus 9, I would have 48. Notice how my ones digit stayed the same, stayed 8. Then if I have 77 minus 9, I would have 68, and 97 minus 9, I would have 88. For question 3, make a 7 by 7 array with dots. So yours maybe looks something like mine, and when you are figuring that out, you should have figured out that there are a total of 49 dots. For question 4, arrange the allowances in order from the minimum, the smallest, to the maximum, the largest. So I had the order 1, 3, 4, 7, 10. My minimum, or the smallest number, was 1, and then the maximum, the biggest number, was 10. For question 5, match each person with the correct weight. So a newborn baby would be about 7 pounds, a second grader would be about 63 pounds, and an adult about 144 pounds. For question 6, how many boxes are on this math box page? So there's a total of 6 boxes, and how many boxes are on half of this page? You should have said 3. So double check to make sure you have your page correct before moving on to the next part of the lesson. For the next slides, please use either notebook paper or whiteboard and marker if available to write down your answers. If the speed is too fast, pause as often as needed. So first question, if we're thinking about 10 cents, how much more would you need if you were at 5 to get to 10? You would need 5 more cents. If you were at 3 cents, how much more to get to 10? You would need 7 cents. If you were at 4, how much more to get to 10? You should have said 6. If you're at 8, how much more to get to 10? 2. And if you're at 1 cent, how much more to get to 10? 9. So if I have 7 nickels, how many total cents is that? Could you press pause and then press play when you're ready to check? So when I'm thinking about 7 nickels, I'm counting by 5 7 times, and I should have had 35. How many cents is it if I have 9 dimes? You can press pause and play to check. This time I was counting by tens 9 times to get a total of 90 cents. How many quarters would I have if I had a total of 50 cents? Press pause and play to check. I know that 2 quarters equals 50 cents. We have 3 more like this. So if you can look at if you have 30 cents, how many nickels would that be? 70 cents, how many dimes? And then how many dimes equals 20 cents? Press pause, solve these 3 problems, and then play to check. All right, if I have 30 cents, I know that's the same as having 6 nickels. If I have 70 cents, I know that's the same as having 7 dimes. And if I have 2 dimes, I know that's the same as having 20 cents. If I'm at 25, how much more to get to 30? You should have said 5. Now, could you look at the remaining 3 problems and think about, so if I was at 50, how much would I have to subtract to get to 44? And then look at these 2 also. Press pause and play when you're ready to check. So I know that 50 minus 6 would get me to 44. If I'm thinking about 63, and if I added 7 more, I would get a total of 70. If I'm at 70 and I subtract 9, I would get to 61. Now you can put your notebook or your whiteboard to the side and we'll talk about our math journal page. We'll first talk about page 164. Page 164 looks like this. So you can see we have 6 problems. Let's talk about problems 1 and 2 first. So they're using base 10 blocks to help you subtract. So if you think if you have 56 minus 39, that's just like saying you have 5 longs and 6 cubes, and you're subtracting 3 longs and 9 cubes. And then looking at number 2, if you're thinking about 73 minus 14, could you press pause, solve problems 1 and 2, and then press play when you're ready to check? All right, second graders, let's talk about just problems 1 and 2. So we had the problem 56 minus 39. Now notice how I couldn't subtract 6 minus 9. So I had more on the floor. I needed to go next door. I changed my 5 to a 4. Now my 6 becomes a 16. Now I can subtract 16 minus 9, which I know is 7, and then 4 minus 3, which equals 1. And if you had any mistakes, please fix those with your pencil and eraser. For the second one, so I had 73 minus 14, and I can't subtract 3 minus 4 because the number on the floor is bigger. So I need to go next door. I'm going to change my 7 to a 6. My 3, since I'm adding a long to it, my 3 is now a 13. Now I can think 13 minus 4, which I know is 9, and then 6 minus 1 to 5. So I should have had 59. Now let's talk about the second half of the page. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to write your ballpark estimate. When you're writing your ballpark estimate, I want you to round these numbers to the nearest 10. So think about 47. Think, is 47, would that be closer to 40 or closer to 50? And then think about 19 and think, when 19, is that closer to 10 or closer to 20? So write your ballpark estimate on the line and then solve to find the exact answer. Can you do that for all 4 of these problems? So problem 3, 4, 5, and 6. Press pause and then play when you're ready to check. All right, second graders, let's take a look at problem number 3 first. So I had 47 minus 19. I rounded 47 to 50, and I rounded 19 to 20. I know that 50 minus 20 equals 30. Now when I'm solving 47 minus 19, I needed to go next door. So I changed my 4 to a 3. My 7 becomes a 17. Now when I'm subtracting 17 minus 9, I know that's 8, and then 3 minus 1 to get me to 2 for my answer of 28. For question 4, I have 88, which I know would round to 90, minus 23, which would stay at 20. 90 minus 20 equals 70. So I know my actual answer needs to be pretty close to 70. Just like before, 28, that was pretty close to 30. This problem set up very nice for me because I have more on top. So I have 8 minus 3, which I know is 5, and 8 minus 2 is 6, giving me 65. I did not need to go next door since I had more on the top. There was no need to stop. For question 5, I have 82 minus 65. I'm going to round 82 to 80, and then 65 is going to round to 70. Since that 5 is either at 5 or higher, it rounds up. 70 minus 10 equals, 80 minus 70 equals 10. Now I couldn't solve 2 minus 5, so I needed to go next door and change the 8 to a 7, and now I have 12 minus 5, which I know is 7, and then 7 minus 6 is 1, giving me my answer of 17. For question number 6, so I have 64 minus 38. I'm going to round 64 to 60. 38 is going to round to 40. 60 minus 40 equals 20. I can't subtract 4 minus 8 since I have more on the floor, so I'm going to go next door. My 6 then is going to become a 5. My 4 is a 14. 14 minus 8 is 6, and then 5 minus 3 equals 2, giving me my answer of 26. So double check to make sure you have your page correct. before moving on to math boxes. Our math box page today is 165. I'm going to talk about the directions, then I'm going to ask that you complete the page on your own. When you're all done, take a picture and add that picture to Seesaw, and we'll go over this page in our next video. So for question 1, if you have 24 children and there's 6 in each row, can you draw an array? So you can start with maybe 6 dots and think, how many rows, how many 6s could I have? So tell me how many rows and then how many children are left over. How many animals, if you add up these 3 numbers, fill in the missing numbers for number 3. Draw a line of symmetry on this triangle. For number 5, you need to first find the rule and then complete the table. For the last one, you get to make up a problem still following that same rule. And then for question 6, think about what fraction of the shape is shaded. Circle the best answer. All right, I'll see you next time.